Hello, let me introduce myself. I'm Whatup Seven. I'm the owner of the channel. Now that you see my body, the moment to narrate a beautiful narrative has arrived. An important story. A story that the entire planet needs to hear, since we forgot something essential for life. Be attentive, because even if you can replay the video, the first impression can't be replayed. I will tell you a story that will change your life forever. A tale that no one told you. A tale that was deprived to us since birth. A narration that will serve to understand the wonders of life. And why the only way life can continue is if everything that forms it, all its connections, are free as well. Without further delay, the story of what freedom is. The story of life. Let's take a trip to the beginning of this story. For this, we will travel far back in time, long before the earliest human memories. Since freedom was born with the formidable origin of life. It all started with a magnificent cell. What you see here is a free cell. It has its entire universe for it, without anything or anyone bothering it. It has all its primitive and basic necessities covered, since socializing is not one of them. And you might be wondering, what would happen if two free cells joined? Here, there are two free cells that have given themselves a vote of confidence. With trust in each other, they will unite to form a single being, a free organism. When two free cells join, they form a being that lives as one, decides as one, and interacts with the substratum as one. But they take care of each other as two, without forgetting their individualities, differences, capacities, and needs. And this is the next freedom, a free organism. But if this ended here, the story would be very short. There is still more, and since there is more, we tend to forget the previous story. But that's why I'm here, to refresh your memory. What is next? Maybe you're asking yourself, if the organism grows as more cells join together, what can that mean? And I hope you're asking yourself, what will you teach me now? If two cells form an organism when they join together, two or more free organisms form a free herd. And that's what you have on screen. A free herd. It has the same magic shown before, and it acts as a single being, as a single thing, as a single entity, even though it is made up of several members. The herd freely chooses as a single living being. A wonderful example of interaction between free herds will now be shown. Here comes a herd of predators. And this other herd here, the members that make it up, are their prey. Noble cooperation will guarantee the success of the hunt. To do this, carnivores communicate with each other to position themselves and attack with great efficiency. They hunt that many prey because they use one of the greatest inventions of life: teamwork. Once they have managed to devour such a delicious trophy and obtain the nutrients they need, reproduction begins. And this is the freedom of most animals. The freedom of a deer, a wolf, a free herd of wolves eating a free deer. But don't leave me now. This can still be developed much more. The best part is yet to come. The next thing that you find is a freedom that implies a greater union in the group, with some even more complex interactions. What could that be? Well, that would be a free tribe. Here's an example of a free tribe made up of 5 members, where the work is already beginning to be divided among its members. The first job you'll see is that of the rancher. The farmer enters the stable where there are 5 domesticated animals, which, as we've seen before, come from the species that they used to hunt. They realize that it is more convenient to obtain the nitrogen they need this way, instead of hunting. The farmer comes in and milks the animal. Once the nitrogen needed has been obtained, the farmer leaves the stable and takes it to the center of the village for storage. The center of their town is the storehouse of their resources and food. Once you've seen this, let's go to the second job, that of the collector. They are a bit different, as it occurs with the different individuals of the same species. Nothing weird so far. As their name suggests, they are in charge of collecting carrion, organic matter that they find. They store nutrients, and when they have a surplus, they create a bag to store it. Just as you're about to see. This one is bothering this other one to try to be funny. Hopefully, everyone will end up doing their job well. Once ready, they go back to the village to store all this food in the common store, which in fact has more functions. Ask yourself what they could be. Once the day is over, they meet in the evening, right before dinner, to talk about their experiences during the day. The first one can't wait and starts very quickly. They communicate through the change of color caused by the production of various chemical signals. Through sounds and through the color of the central cell, which serves to express emotions that they have felt while living in their experience, as if they were facial expressions. The first speaker has stated having been bothered by an asshole while working peacefully. The second speaker affirmed having been very calm and happy throughout the day. The prankster criticizes the first one for not having any sense of humor and says the day has been a great day to live. The rancher comments on how hard it is to milk the animals since they don't sit still. Seeing the rancher's sad face, all the others kindly offer the rancher smiles, understanding and support to make the rancher know that they will always be at the rancher's side. Yellow color means a smile. The last one, who is very scared and feared not coming back, starts to cry out of desperation for having got lost. Luckily, this last one's back, but still very nervous. The others offer this last one understanding. They smile very brightly, and all of them end up with a group hug. Group hug! Wow! Since they understand the problem, it's been a good day and they have enough resources. Behaving as a single entity, as a single individual, as a single being, the next day they build a path back so that no one else is lost again. What you've seen here is empathy. The importance of listening and understanding your peers to be able to understand why they feel these emotions. What has happened to them, what has occurred to them, why they feel like this, so that they feel understood and not abandoned. Something very important about empathy that this tribe knows very well is to never judge someone who's speaking and who's looking for understanding. They know that no one from the tribe would be so irresponsible and immoral as to abuse such a powerful tool by living without working, being a pathetic, manipulative, and a victimizer. Since empathy is very important for life and it is blasphemous to abuse it to manipulate your fellow peers. The next thing that comes now is the interaction of two tribes, although you will only see one member of each. What you're witnessing at this moment is a free change, each offering something that they have surplus of that the other one needs. When it comes to free change, the following virtue is very important: honesty. With honesty, you can be sure that they are not cheating on you, and that they are really doing their part and will give you what was promised. Since they are from different tribes, they also have different cultures and have found different solutions to the same problem of transporting the bags with the merchandise. What this tribe needs is nitrogen. As you can see, the bag is full of nitrogen, while their store has very little left. In the other case, the store is full of nitrogen. What they lack is mass, food, fat, and that is why they have accepted such beneficial exchange for both. As the change has happened with honesty, both tribes will continue to exchange with each other, benefiting collectively as they know that neither party will cheat on the other and the deal will go through. Thanks to this, they open the door to trust and cooperation between both tribes. But in all this process, something more advanced that goes beyond this is happening. Something with an unimaginable complexity. What could it be? While you try to guess what it could be, I leave you these images of how both tribes have developed through honest trade. All this great construction you've just seen has been possible thanks to patience. The patience of waiting and patiently working day after day to have a better life for all. Thanks to patience, they build these machines that facilitate milking cattle. Obviously, we shouldn't forget about the other virtues mentioned that also play their role. This one allows to obtain mass, and this nitrogen. Do you know what you're observing now? What you're seeing now is a free polis. In this case, there are more types of jobs. What you see now are the workers, the ones who build the ramparts, the walls and the gates. Two are in charge of opening and closing the door, and the warriors keep watch. Through the door comes a trader, after making a great deal abroad. Then there are the blacksmiths, who make tools and machines. Right now they are making weapons. Everyone is headed to a very special place. The farmers are done for today, and with warehouses full of food and having done a good job, they're headed to the same special place. Then there are the merchants. They have already finished accounting for their huge gains and are headed to the same place. And at the place where everyone is headed, the council of the wise is waiting, ready for weekly decision-making, which is a natural evolution of the gathering tradition of the tribe. The wise are the thinkers of the polis. They are in charge of thinking of possible solutions to problems that are emerging in the polis. These solutions are discussed in the weekly assembly with everyone. The assembly has just started, and it always starts by a sage out of the 7 forming the council. An important point will be debated: how to manage justice, if it should continue being managed by all citizens or it should become a separate power controlled by the most prepared, that is, the judges. They discuss it over dinner. Once the sage finishes, the citizens who want it will present their arguments. They can do so thanks to the fact that they have a natural language. They make use of reason, they create and live in the polis, and they are gregarious and very sociable. And from all this comes the next freedom: political freedom, or collective political freedom. This freedom can only be enjoyed by a political species. They are political animals. And from collective political freedom comes the debate, the laws, the rights, and the obligations that they can only apply to themselves. Other polis, obviously, will have other laws and rights. If citizenship is free, the polis will also be free. Although it is made up of many people, buildings, and structures, the polis will act as one entity, as a single being, as a single free individual. The polis will define itself. It will decide what it wants to be, what its own existence means, what it means to be part of this polis, as if it was only one entity. Since everything within the polis is free, the polis is also free. They have already finished the debate, and they give themselves some time to think about their vote. Now it's time to vote. Blue means abstention, green means yes, and red means no. The yes wins. They do want judges. The polis wants judges. But there are some who are not satisfied with the result. There are some who are eager for power, for the power to modify what they want and make the world the way they want it to be or think it should be. A narcissistic individual, self-centered, with more ego than an engineer, so apathetic and manipulative that in a moment of weakness of the polis is capable of trying to divide it, allowing discord and evil reign as soon as he sees fit. An individual that wants the others to pay him attention and is willing to make the rest fight between their own brothers by promising them a better future. A demagogue. The demagogue meets with those that voted no and also asks for help from the warriors who abstained. Since they are hesitant, it is easy to manipulate them into joining the cause. Convincing the ones that voted no is simple. The demagogue lies to them and can manipulate them to gain power because they believe that they are doing the right thing for the polis. They designed the plan where each one would do their part. At the next assembly, where they would discuss how to choose the judges, the plan is executed. They blocked the way with their own bodies and with the sacks of food and the concrete of the construction work, while the warriors killed 5 sages. The citizens who see it immediately tried to save them, but they arrived too late. Meanwhile, the demagogue with his enormous ego is positioned in the center, facing the citizens and laughing evilly. The demagogue has seized power and will keep alive the other 2 sages who will be used as counselors. Now the polis is no longer free, since the demagogue decides as if the demagogue was the polis, as if the polis was the demagogue. The demagogue has the power to change the laws, constructions, rights, and the very reality of the polis. That enormous power without any freedom nor control allows an individual to decide for the entire polis. That's the power. The power to change reality according to your vision of the world and how you want it to be. Even though they fought so that there were no judges, in the end, the demagogue, being incoherent and hypocritical, self-proclaims the judge by making use of fallacies and sophisms. The dictator has the power to decide the future of the polis, as if the polis was an extension of the demagogue. In the meantime, the town suffers scarcity, hunger, and lack of work. The demagogue closes the door and the commerce is stopped. The demagogue takes away the tools and the pride from the blacksmiths, as well as the pride of bringing the necessary products from abroad from the merchants. Meanwhile, the workers build things aesthetically hideous. The animals are poorly cared for, and the farm is in ruins. The demagogue imposes more taxes for the sole purpose of robbing the population. Now the demagogue has all the weapons so that the people cannot defend themselves. The demagogue is no longer part of the people. The demagogue is the polis, The demagogue is the dictator. Nonetheless, a great deal of time went by and the people got fed up. They secretly organized a plan to put down the regime. They saved up food to be strong during the battle. The people moved in silence and took advantage of the fact that they were having dinner and were distracted to attack them. The attack is brutal. There is no one left from his guards and advisors. They don't have time to react. After this, there were more assemblies, battles, meetings, debates, and wars. However, over the years, they found ways to prevent everything from happening again. In order to achieve that, it was necessary to conquer freedom again. This time, they established rules to avoid the mistakes of the past. Out of this collective political freedom, new laws and rights will be born. This is something that will improve their lives forever. Something that will make the collective happy and all its members free. Since rights do not give you freedom, it is political freedom that generates the rights. A freedom that only the political species possess, and the more they seek the truth, the freer they will be. In a pleasant assembly, they will decide the basic norms. In this assembly, they will establish a constitution where they will define their rights and the most basic and important norms. They are throwing different proposals. If someone supports the proposal, it will be debated. If it is necessary, they will rectify it or place amendments. It will only pass if more than 2/3 are in favor. A constitution made for and by the people, since they once again conquered collective political freedom. This is a constituent process. To begin with, this constitution guarantees the right to life, and so, by majority vote, you cannot kill anyone. Another thing that guarantees is the foundational separation of powers principle. That is that the power is not controlled by the other two. The legislative is formed by the citizens who will make the rules and laws according to the Constitution. The judiciary will apply justice according to the laws. The judges organize themselves. Finally, the executive power is the president elected in general elections and will be in charge of applying the laws and organize the armed forces. The demagoguery is over. The orders must come from the president, not from the legislative chamber. The president will have a cabinet which is made by the president. And what you're seeing now is a democratic government with a republican state. That is, the individuals of the group are treated equally before the law. Thanks to the separation of powers, They ensure that no one has too much power and that collective political freedom lasts over time, and they continue to be free. But the population grows, and in the end it becomes impossible through direct democracy. So they elect representatives to go to the legislative chamber. Electoral districts are formed. First, they try to elect representatives by simple majority. That is, the one with the most votes takes it all. But they see that this does not work very well, since in the end, you do not choose the one you want, but the one with the most chances of winning that you find least unpleasant. For this reason, they make a new method, the two-round system, where a second election takes place between the two candidates who have received the most votes. So first, you can vote for the one you like the most. At the district level, assemblies and direct democracy continue. The representative will send everything that was discussed to the legislative chamber, both the needs at the district level and the regulations discussed with the citizens. This will be debated at a national level among the legislators of all the nation. Something very important is that they can fire the representative whenever they want. They don't need to wait for a specific amount of time to choose another. They change it whenever they want. Now the Senate also arises. Each district elects 2 senators. The House of Representatives is in charge of debating and making the laws. But then it is the Senate that is in charge of verifying that they are constitutional and rectifying them if necessary. Once everything is established and the Senate approves them, the laws become effective and the executive will apply them. Well, this organization that you see here, which allows you to control the power, can function well even with distrust. But if the 5 virtues are present, trust, cooperation, empathy, honesty, and patience, it will work much better. Since these 5 virtues are the ones that best adapt to life. When a district is formed using the 5 virtues, a very difficult to define glue will emerge. Loyalty. If, in addition, all the districts apply the same, the country will remain united. An example of this are the forests, where all the trees and plants communicate with one another thanks to the mycorrhizae, which allow symbiotic relationships with fungi. They are all loyal to one another. Without loyalty, the forest would not exist. It also keeps herds and tribes together. And all these freedoms are based on the fact that the collectives are as important as the individuals that form them. Since a collective forms a new individual. Therefore, any idea that puts the individual above the collective is doomed to failure. And any idea that puts the collective above the individual is also doomed to failure. So, knowing all this, how many countries do you know with collective political freedom? Knowing that a formal democracy is defined by the election of representatives by single-member district and separation of powers, how many democracies do you know in the world? How many?